Hello, Melanie.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. This is Bob Vanderslice, not Kristen Geller.
Nice to meet you. I'm turning my video on. It may take a minute.
Um, I know how to do it. I'm at the town hall and I've never run a meeting from here before, so Dan E. If I start video. Yes, oops. There we go. Look at that.
Yay.
Bob,
Right.
are you all set?
Yeah.
Do you know how to do this?
Yep.
Tony thought it was all by Zoom. That's why it wasn't open for you.
Okay. All right.
He's all set. I think if you go on, he's on. Okay. He's all set. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Hey, Bob, I'm on the meeting. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can.
The wonders of technology.
I know. It's amazing.
So you're all set.
I'm all set.
Yeah, Tony said, oh, I thought it was all by Zoom.
So I'm just gonna go out that door and make sure it locks behind me.
Yeah, and if it doesn't.
Hi, Melanie.
Hi, Barbara. How are you today?
I am well. How are you?
I am well also. Glad we don't have any snow.
It's supposed to snow a little bit tonight, maybe.
Well, I hope it keeps with the past pattern of just looking beautiful but not sticking.
And
Yeah.
what did I tell you when I said there was going to be snow? So, and then of course not. I used to, my whole life as a principal was trying to make snow forecasts the night before or the day before, and then knowing that the parents were going to hate me if I made the wrong forecast and it didn't snow and they had to find some childcare at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
And if it turned out to be dangerous and, they got stuck trying to get there and we had to send the kids home in the middle of there was no way to win. No way. Now I can see you. Can you see me? I have to start my video. Wait a minute. There. Got it.
Now I see.
We can see you.
Yeah. So Melanie, when we start, I'm just going to say a few words about you so people know.
Yeah. That's very kind. Thank you.
Not hard.
All right. I am kind of skeptical that we are either going to have a forum tonight.
Yeah, I was worried about that.
And failing a quorum, I guess amongst ourselves here. When next week is school vacation week, I believe.
I don't need this. I can take this off.
Oh, and the above baby done.
I'm not sure when school vacation week is.
I think school vacation week is next week. I think it starts with President's Day, which is Monday, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And then the rest is school vacation week.
Okay. So that's probably not a good week.
Well, I don't know. I don't think too many of this group are affected by school vacations anymore.
Well, okay. Melanie, are you?
No, I'm not.
No? Okay. Well, maybe we'll see.
Now, Deborah should be coming tonight. And who else are we?
What is a quorum? So we have a 6-member committee right now. No, wait, Bob, Melanie, Dan, Peter, Deborah, Joy. Did I miss anyone?
So once Deborah gets here, we have a quorum.
Yeah. So if one more person,
right.
Exactly.
And Deborah, I know is coming. We could email her, but I think.
Okay. So I'm the only one here at Town Hall.
So now I have to say my big plea, who's going to take minutes? Because remember we said we were going to.
Well, that was going to be my first thing. So who is going to take, you took them last time.
I did.
And
it's not fair for Melanie to take them because she's
no
fair.
Exactly. That's not fair.
Maybe because Deborah comes last, she has to take minutes.
Good thinking, Barbara. That'll inspire people to show up on time.
So that should be our new tradition. Whoever arrives last is the minute taker for the night. Okay. Oh, that second Kristen Taylor is me.
There's Deborah.
Hello.
Yes, there's Dan.
So Bob, you have to tell Deborah. I'm not going to.
What?
Oh. So we've started a new tradition, Deborah.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Whoever arrives last
Oh,
is the
God.
minute taker.
Well, am I really last?
Well, we don't know. Sure, but it's likely.
Okay. Well, I'm more than happy to take minutes. I was actually going to offer to take them next time, but I will do it this time.
Okay.
Get it over with. I
Thanks.
see I'm a little bit blurry. You can see, but the news has really, really hit me hard. So I will try to make my face a little bit brighter.
Bob, you might want to mute one of your screens, you know.
I already did, and I can hear the echo too. So this is muted. Is that better? No, that's worse.
I would mute the other one.
Yep. Okay, so that's um, is that better? That's worse. Because you
No.
can't.
Oh, I thought that did work.
Oh, no, nobody said it. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Say
that
something.
I think that works better.
Okay,
I don't
All right.
I don't hear an echo now.
good. That's fine. That works. All right, so I think this is what we're gonna get. So it is 6:34 on Thursday, the 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. The meeting of the Finance and Advisory Committee is in order. I guess first thing we should do is just introductions. We do have a new member. Barbara wants to do an introduction, so the floor is yours.
Thank you. I want to welcome Melanie Drayton. I met Melanie through Girls Inc. Melanie is on the board of Girls Inc. in Lynn, and I was volunteering there, helping some young women with their college applications. Melanie you should check her out on LinkedIn. Wow. Melanie is now correct me if I don't have this correct, is the Vice President of Regulatory Affairs for Vaxart, right?
Correct.
Vaxart. And Vaxart is an international biopharma company that is developing some exciting new vaccines. She went to Tulane School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine. And you worked in a lot of different interesting agencies. Was it the FDA?
Yes, the U.S.
Right.
Food and Drug Administration. Yes.
Right. So what she does is she works on sort of quality control of medicines and how medicines work through the process for quality control. And as I said, regulatory affairs. And she's handled some very big projects. She can count. That was funny. Of course she can. So before that, she was at Charles River Labs And as I said, with the FDA and other groups, she lives on Spinney Path, and she grew up in Brooklyn, right?
Yes.
So, welcome.
Welcome, Melanie.
Thank you for the warm welcome. It's lovely to meet all of you in person finally. I've already met with Tony and Kristen in the office to get a quick orientation and onboarding. So I'm looking forward to joining you.
All right, well, why don't we do the quick around the room of the other committee members and well, really everybody that's on this meeting, just so you get an idea of who we are. The traditional way of doing this is you're supposed to introduce yourself and give your background, and then you're supposed to say like one embarrassing thing about you. We're going to skip the embarrassing thing part entirely. So I'm Bob Vanderslice. I am the chair of the committee, which is more like the chief herder of cats than anything else. My background is I'm an accountant by training, and I'm a manufacturing and operations consultant by profession. Dave Conlon surprised me at the last town meeting by announcing that I have been on the finance committee for 30 years. My first reaction was, I'm not even that old. So anyway, that's me. Dan, you want to go?
Thank you, Bob. I'm Dan McMacken. I guess this is my third year on the FinCom. I'm a small businessman. I have engineering outfits. Our latest initiative is green energy to produce electricity from jet engines and reduce the carbon footprint and slash the gas and electric bill for our users. And I have nothing embarrassing to say. I would have to make it up clearly, as Bob knows.
Nice to meet you.
Your
Dan.
secrets are safe with me, Dan.
Thank you.
All right, Deborah.
Hi, Melanie. Et al. I'm Deborah Warren. I think this is if it's Dan's third, it must be about my fourth, though I'm not sure it's that much, years on the Finance Committee. My background is in management in technical software. I worked for the early Digital Equipment Corporation, and then retired early, actually. And I live in Nahant. I was raised in Nahant, went away for 30 years, and came back to live here in our beautiful island about 10 years ago.
Nice to meet you.
Dad, you were a teacher,
And I
and
was a teacher yeah. Oh, that's right. And I also am a writer.
and how many books? You might as well, come on, there you go.
About 6 or 7, various.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted her to say. I don't think she said it the last time.
Wow, that's impressive, Deborah. It's nice to meet you.
All right. Tony, do you want to? Or do we just say you need no introduction?
I met with Melanie and Allison, and I met with Melanie a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month now. I'm not sure. So we've already gotten the opportunity to do the introductions, but I'm the town administrator. I've been the town administrator since August of 2018, and I grew up in Nahant. I've never really, even though I've moved out of Nahant, I live in Beverly now. I feel like I spend most of my time there, whether at work or on the weekend. So I'm still pretty much by default. I think I have residency.
Nice to see you again, Tony. Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thanks.
Allison? Whoops, there she goes.
Hi again, Melanie. Yep, we met in person. but I've been the finance director for the town. It's 3 years now. Before working for the town of Nahant, I was the finance director for the town of Marblehead. So I've been in municipal finance for 8 years about. So it was a pleasure meeting you and learning about your background. I think you have a lot to add to this group, so we're happy to have you here.
And she is a marathon runner. Big
Oh,
time.
really? I didn't know that. Oh,
No,
Melanie?
You.
Oh, me. No,
You.
I don't do marathons. I do triathlons.
That's what it was. Even
Oh my
more
gosh.
impressive.
That's even more. And
So,
then Melanie yourself, do you want to expound on anything that?
No, Barbara pretty much covered it. I'll add some additional information. I moved to Nahant in 2016 in December, right before Christmas. So I've actually been a resident of Nahant for 7 years now.
Excellent.
And I didn't get to say anything about, I should tell you something about me too, right?
Yeah, that's okay. Yes, I didn't. I figured you knew each other, so that's why I didn't call on you, but go ahead.
So I grew up in Southern California and came out here and have been coming to Nahant. I'm married to someone who was born in Nahant. So I've been coming out here for, oh my goodness, 50 or more years. So I am a former kindergarten teacher from the Boston Public Schools. And then I directed Lesley College's laboratory preschool and began teaching at Lesley, and then moved to Wellesley. And I was chair of the Wellesley Education Department for, oh my goodness. Well, I taught at Wellesley for 37 years. And I retired recently, but I'm still doing research and writing. And like Deborah, I also write books, but not as many as she has.
And Barbara's the most charming among us.
I would second that. Yeah.
I'm blushing.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so this is going to be short, but and the whole idea is just to kind of get ourselves organized. Melanie, just to maybe give this a little bit of context. I'm not going to find it that way. So the committee is kind of an oversight and advisory committee. And I'm searching for something while we speak here. Our primary responsibility is that warrant book that appears in your mailbox like 2 weeks before town meeting every year. Essentially, we are responsible for publishing that book. Included in that book are our recommendations on the things that will be voted on at the town meeting. So I don't know, the way I've always looked at this, and Tony, you can jump in here anytime you want, is there's really two things we're trying to do. Is one, we're trying to just frame up the issues, or what the subject matter is of each of the issues in as succinct and almost unbiased way as possible for the voters. So that's kind of number one. And number two is to offer the committee's recommendation regarding whatever that issue is. Is that fair, Tony?
Yeah, I think you got it right. Looking at the, hold on a second. My daughter's running around here.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, take a look if you have a moment, take a look at the town charter, the town bylaws. It speaks to the charge of the Advisory and Finance Committee. We also talked a little bit about, different other additional resources that are available online for finance committees and what their role is and charge. And then, the only other piece to add to what Bob was saying is that the budget that's voted on at town meeting is technically your budget. The Board of Selectmen and me, Allison and I developed the budget by meeting with department heads. We work with the Board of Selectmen to get it approved and send it to the FinCom. And then it's actually the Finance Committee's budget that gets approved or gets voted on at town meeting, versus the warrant, which is owned by the Board of Selectmen. The Board of Selectmen develop the warrant and control the warrant, and determine what articles will be on there, where they're located. Unless, of course, something comes in by way of a citizen's petition, there's really no discretion if you submit something with enough signatures.
So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So kind of as a practical matter, the way it works is the selectmen published what's called the warrant, which contains a list of articles. Think of those as like issues or things the town has to discuss and decide or vote on. And it looks like this. So that there'll be the article itself. This is what comes from the selectmen. It's generally, it's succinct and it's often written in a little bit of legalese just to satisfy everybody that needs to be satisfied, like bond counsel and the state and the attorney general and all those kinds of folks. And then it's followed in the book by our recommendation. So we have a vote on it and we will either choose to recommend it or not recommend it, and then offer some commentary trying to do what we just described, frame up the issue and offer a reason before our recommendation. So that's our deliverable over the next couple of months.
I will say Melanie had a very good sense in our meeting. Melanie, I'll let you speak to it. But I believe you said you regularly attended town meetings in the past.
Correct.
And stayed pretty involved or followed along in the process.
Correct. And I've actually read the book you sent to me.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yes.
Then you were probably way ahead of us. Is this what I want? Yeah. And Tony, by the way, you addressed me as Mr. Chairman. I felt like a Russian despot when I read that.
Chairman Mayo.
You are the chairman, are you not?
I am, but I don't know. I just kind of had to chuckle at the way it was written. All right, so timing. First piece of this is just timing. So, Tony, this is your document, and generally, what we do is we back schedule from the town meeting. So, town meeting is scheduled for Saturday, May 18th. Which means the book has to be delivered 2 weeks prior.
1 week prior.
1 week. Yeah, that's right. 1 week prior, we need 2 weeks of, which means Saturday, May 10th is the last day that the book can go out. And if we back it off, then there's another week. And then, and you're giving us 3 weeks, it looks like, to get it through the printer and into the mail.
Usually there's like a week of revisions with the printer, and then it takes some time for them to get it all printed and get it to the post office in time for delivery by the 10th.
Okay, so this is our drop dead date. That's our date where we have to be done, Friday, April 19th.
Yep.
Okay. And you meaning the Board of Selectmen and the town administrator and the town accountant, you're going to have an approved budget and warrant next Wednesday?
Yep. Now the warrant is kind of a living document until a certain point, so it can change.
Yep.
For instance, CPC articles will come later in the year, sometime in March, I assume. So we'll update the warrant with that. And if there's any other, budget changes, sometimes we'll get adjustments from the state numbers between, when we deliver you our first draft of the budget on the 21st and, when this thing goes to print on the 19th. So if there's any, significant changes that need to occur, we'll bring it to the selectmen to make that change and then send you a revised budget.
Yeah, but it should be solid enough that we can start working with it. And
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's the schedule. And I'm going to digress a little bit. Tony, I know we talked about this in prior years. Is there a way that we can set ourselves up some sort of a shared folder or a shared drive where we can dump our documents? And I'm assuming that has to be a public shared drive.
We have one. We utilize Dropbox.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is one in place.
Okay. Can you send us the link to that and get whatever credentials we need?
Yep. I'll start a new folder. Yep.
And does it have to be public? Does the public have to have access to that?
No. That technically anything in there is a public record. So if someone submits a public records request, we'd have to provide it to them, but they don't need to have access to the folder. The reason we do a shared a shared drive is because the documents we give you guys are so large with so much information. And if Allison and I make a small tweak and it affects a number of different things, it's easier to just upload it into that folder and you guys can access it from there than reprinting or sending it individually. It becomes bogged down that way. So it's just a way for us to be able to get all the documents to you guys quickly.
Okay. Is everybody on the committee comfortable with this?
Yes.
Yeah.
We did this before.
Yeah.
I know we did. I just want to be sure that we're not. Okay. So
I have a question.
Can we just do away with that notebook entirely?
Will we have to get new passwords? I mean, will we sort of have to start the process all over again?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But what I'll do is I'll start a new folder.
Okay.
And I'll put all your emails to it. You'll get a link, that will allow you guys to access the documents that are in there.
Thank you. Love links. Links good.
Link is good. And if there's any credentials we need, I certainly haven't retained it. So good. Okay. So we'll put this out there amongst other things in our shared drive. All right. The way we historically have done this is we have kind of agreed or appointed a liaison to different departments, and or if it's particularly important or large or controversial topic, we may assign a liaison to a specific topic. So this is my list of topics that we have to cover. So I said revenue, so this is the whole income side of the budget, which we never really focused on a whole ton, but I think it would be useful to have someone at least kind of riding herd on the revenue side of this. And then a liaison to the general government, police, fire, public works, all the other public safety stuff that's not police and fire, culture, recreation, school, community preservation, personnel. So personnel means salaries and wages, retirement benefits, OPEB, health insurance, all those sorts of things. And then housing was a bit of a catch-all just because it has been a big issue over the past couple of years. I think it's kind of the dust is settling a bit, but let's just have somebody kind of riding herd on it just in case. Does that make sense? Is there anything we need to add to that list?
No, I think this approach has worked well in years past, where we have a responsible party or a champion among us for each of these various line items, and in some cases it's Barbara and I do police and fire, and that's worked great.
All right, so that was my next question.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
I have a question. I'm sorry to interrupt. Dan talks about championing, and I have often wondered about this. Are we really, is that part of our role as liaisons to be advocates for whatever these groups?
That was the wrong word, Deb. What I mean,
it is an issue I've thought about.
Yeah, no, I if anything, we should be challenging rather than championing. That's not, perhaps I selected the wrong word. What I mean is the responsible party who owns the that particular bit of the budget.
Okay.
And to your point, we should be challenging more than rubber stamping as we come across spending items.
I agree. There has been in the past, though, a sense of advocacy for these on the part of the liaison people that I get, sort of a subtext, and I wanted to be sure because I was never comfortable with that.
I concur.
I agree. And maybe a more neutral term even would be presenting, in the sense that we're presenting, and part of the explaining involves our having asked pertinent questions and raising pertinent questions.
Yes, yes to all of the above. And one of the things I've seen, and it actually it's getting better and better over the years, but many of the department heads are not all that good in being their own champion sometimes. So if you may be a bit of a coach in helping them to present their case in the best light. But to Dan's point, it is a challenge. There is a role of challenging perhaps the way they are, what they're asking for, or even maybe how they're approaching running some things. Okay. Does anybody want to volunteer for any of these assignments before we just start throwing names up there?
Herbert and I have already been attending the CPC meetings.
Right.
So this is the 2 T's, Barbara? I don't remember.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
So there's 6 of us. Do we get 2?
Yes, there will be definitely. There's there's supposed to be 9 of us, but we're very shorthanded here.
Yes, Tony?
So Allison and I meet with all department heads on their requests for operational expenditures, salaries, and capital requests. And then we put together our budget, we give it to the board of selectmen, we give it to you. So usually, Allison and I are made available for each of these liaisons post meeting with the department heads that these categories represent. So to kind of give you the other half of why, the town may have said yes or no to a particular request.
Understood.
And also, each of the department heads comes and presents to us.
Yes.
So they'll each have a piece of our time, and they'll do the presentation, and we get to talk to them, ask questions then as well as a group.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, the way I've seen it, is that we liaisons can also provide a heads up or just keep FinCom posted about what's in the works and being discussed.
Okay.
Yes.
So Bob, I don't have one that just particularly jumps out at me, but I have about 4 that I'm interested in. How does that work? And then you can just tell me where to go.
Okay, well, go ahead.
I like police, fire, public works, other public safety, and housing. So just stick me in 2 out of those and I'll be happy.
And I'm gonna volunteer Peter into housing just because he has been really close to this all along.
Yeah, he has.
But we'll put you in there as a second.
Well, also, in the past, some of us have developed familiarity and relationships to some extent with the appropriate individual from whichever of the areas it is. And I'd like to stay with consistency. Barbara and I talked to Austin, and we talked to Furlong, and in the past, and I think that worked well. They're familiar with us, we're familiar with them.
Yeah, I agree. So I would be happy. I think that's a good point. We really do a sense that we know them.
Yeah, exactly.
The consistency is that we've sort of seen over time how their issues have changed, and have a sense of what might be different or not. Yep. And projects that they're working on and have been working on or not.
Yes.
I'm wondering how culture and recreation is a lot different than community preservation, and whether maybe we could double up on those.
There's certainly some overlap.
Now,
So
didn't Peter also do culture and recreation, Barba?
I think so.
Well, if he did, perhaps he should be in there instead.
Yeah, I think Peter should be there under culture and recreation. I think because I know he talked about playgrounds and he's been there
I
for
think
sure.
Julie did it, right, too? Was Julie on culture and recreation?
Yeah.
Well, and CPC is a big one with dozens of line items that deserve some, so it becomes a significant task.
Yes. They're moving along well. Deborah and I have been going to their meetings, and they're moving along well this year.
Is there anyone who's had a history with Public Works? No, not me.
That was on
Not-
my list of preferences, so you can stick me there if you want to take me of one of the others. Wow.
So we'll both learn something new.
What is other public safety? Is that like the coastal climate? Tony, what's other public safety?
I'm not sure, but emergency management
Yeah, that's
might
emergency.
be. I
Yes.
kind of lump it in with our police chief is our emergency management director now. So it might you could probably combine it police / EMD and get rid of other public safety.
Good.
I like that.
That'd make sense to roll that in.
Yep, collapsing is good. When it's that kind of collapsing,
Yeah. Yeah.
not this kind.
Yeah.
On the omnibus, under other public safety, that also includes inspectional services
Oh,
and like animal control, and the parking clerk. They're smaller budgets, but
so maybe you keep a line for other public safety,
Uh,
but I would still have a police / emergency management. It makes sense to talk to the chief of police about that.
Yeah, we did last year.
so should we just put the same people as police and emergency management as?
I'd support that.
Okay. School. I want to put you there, Barbara.
Okay. Deborah, we did school together.
We did a couple of years,
Yeah.
and we were able to spell each other.
Right.
I would certainly be glad to be on there again.
Thank you. Yep.
Sure.
Does anyone know, have they hired a new superintendent?
Now they're going through the search process now.
And do they have final candidates?
I believe their meeting got postponed Tuesday because of the storm. And I believe they were going to be narrowing it down to finalists at that meeting. So I think the answer is not yet, but very close.
So we should find out when their next series of meetings. Do they all, I forget, they always meet on the same, they have a.
I think it's every other Tuesday.
Yeah. And who's the head this year of the school board?
Patty Karras.
Okay.
So enjoy not being here.
Yeah, we need to put Joy up.
So I just gave her the leftovers, if you will.
Well, it seems okay as a placeholder for the
Yeah.
moment.
Okay. And then another piece, and we may find it's premature to do this, but assign articles. So what I've done here is these are the new articles, and yes, and these were the folks that were on them last year. So if the same article appears, I think I may have screwed them up though, because they moved around. I'm not sure I moved them around. But I think it's premature to assign articles at this point.
Could we go back? Because it looked to me as if Melanie, who's being so forthcoming and helpful already, we got assigned more things than anybody else.
Yeah.
As I'm counting. And Melanie, you were just so polite, but that looks like a lot.
Yeah. And they're big ones too.
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
and perhaps on the ones where there are 3 people, she could drop.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm fine with that.
So just, okay.
So can you review it from the top, Bob, as to who's got what at this point?
All right, so revenue is Joy. There's no second person yet. General government is Joy, no second person yet. Police and emergency management is you and Barbara. Fire is you and Barbara. Public Works is Melanie and myself. Let's see what columns are what here. Other public safety is you and Barbara. Culture and recreation, Deborah and Barbara. School, Deborah and Barbara. Those 2 together are a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
Yes, school and CPC together are a lot of bandwidth.
That's a lot of meetings.
Yeah.
It is. So let's get you at least off of culture and recreation. No, Peter's culture and recreation, so we just need to get Barbara off of there.
No, but I'm still on school and CPC.
Right.
Yeah.
You're both on school and CPC.
Right. That's a lot.
And you both
We
see-
could spell each other. Deborah, we might
What?
do that because that's a lot of meetings.
Well, I think, didn't we do that last year? I mean, I feel that school and CPC are, well, I don't know. It's too bad that Tony isn't still going to be the, oh, yes, he is. Yeah, so.
It worked fine. Well, we can do this. We'll figure it out.
Tony's
Tell each other.
Tony's still here though till the end of the fiscal
Yeah,
year,
I
so
mean,
he'll be your contact for the school
Tony
budget.
Yeah, and Tony comes to us with his house in order, so it's not that bad.
No, that's correct. Tony has a beautifully organized budget every year. So yeah, we can leave that. That'll work.
Okay. I took personnel, and then housing is Peter and Melanie. Housing may prove to be not much.
There's a CPC article related to housing. Outside of that, there's not going to be any other articles related to housing.
Okay, and no zoning?
Nope.
Nope, okay.
And Bob, depending on how your bandwidth is going, I'd be very comfortable working with Melanie on public works, just having some understanding of infrastructure.
Yeah, you would be good at that. Better than I. Okay. So we'll
Bob,
put,
do you want me to join you for personnel? If you think
Sure.
everything's not going to be.
yep. Wait, where are you that I can copy you? Oh dear. Okay.
Does anyone have any idea whether our moderator has some thoughts in his head for additional members for us?
I try to, poke him periodically and get nothing.
Okay. What I figured.
I poked him once also, and he sounded sort of, that's the right word for it. Optimistic is a little too positive. That he was thinking.
Mm.
And he had some ideas, but it wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, I floated ideas by him, but he charts his own course.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Oh, but
So I've kind of stopped doing that. All right, I think this is fine for a working list. And then, okay, so meetings. Is this time Thursday evening at 6:30? Does that seem okay with everyone?
Works
Yes,
for me.
Then let's take that as our standard meeting. And I'll send an email out just to confirm everybody is available next week. Well, yeah, so no, wait, Tony, the selectmen meet on Wednesday night, so we will have a final warrant and we will have a preliminary budget at that point.
Yes,
Okay,
Great.
so can you join us and just go through the highlights of that?
of course.
Excellent, thank you. And then I think the best thing to do is, now that we have people assigned here, is I'll take a stab at trying to organize this into a schedule.
Right.
So we'll have one or more of these every week, and then Tony, you can coordinate that with the department heads.
I can help with that. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess it's really the liaison that should be doing that. All right.
Well, the liaisons are different, so we need, as we schedule department heads coming in to speak to this group, each of the liaisons are separate. So we would, we need a schedule that says, which people, which nights.
Yes, exactly. And a little bit of lead time. We can't just expect, instant attendance or instant you know what I'm trying to say.
Right,
Yeah.
because they prepare presentations.
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
They need time to do that preparation.
Yeah. I'm looking for the schedule that we had up here. Oh, here we go. So yeah. That's 8 weeks. Okay, so 8 weeks of lead time. Thank you,
Yep.
Tony, for doing the math for me. And well, that one's not a topic all by itself, but it's 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So it's roughly one a week, assuming that somebody can be prepared as early as that first week afterwards. All right. So Thursday nights are okay. Does anyone have any blackout weeks that we need to worry about?
I've already been to Florida and saw an alligator.
What? You were where?
I went to the Everglades.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And saw an alligator, or 2 or 3.
I actually only saw one. I didn't go to any of the alligator farms. I just couldn't. This was a wild alligator.
Yay.
Big guy. Oh.
Yeah.
But just sitting there basking in the sun, looking extremely.
Alligator-like.
Yes. I'd read a book about alligators right before, so I was feeling informed.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, that was a cute way of saying, I'm fine. I don't have anything coming up.
Oh, okay. Does anyone else have a blackout time that we should just be aware when I start to schedule these? No? All right. So that's it.
Beautiful. Good meeting.
So, oh, what we should ask is, are there any members of the public here? So we do have a public forum listed. We have a resident and 617-8646. No? Then I think a motion to adjourn is in order.
So moved.
And is there a
Second.
All in favor? And we
Aye.
should just do a quick roll call vote then.
Great.
Aye.
Vanderslice votes aye. Barbara,
Aye.
Deborah, Deborah, can you vote aye, please?
Maybe she's muted.
It's muted. I don't know if is it fair to say silence gives consent?
I am here and Warren says aye.
All right.
I reappeared.
Then it is unanimous. We are adjourned until next week. So thank you all.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
meeting.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Oh, actually, before we go, does anybody want to come to town hall? Should we do this in the future or just over Zoom entirely?
Zoom.
Zoom? All right, that's fine. I got the impression last year that there were some people that really wanted to have an in-person meeting, so I did it this way. But if we don't have to, then I'm all for Zoom.
Yeah, you look kind of lonely out there.
I know. I got this big room. They have this fancy thing up on the wall, and
I know.
I think I feel like for these first few meetings, Zoom is great. But as you start getting into you know, the thick of things, those in-person meetings are nice because everybody's around the table. And you're, you know, what if you're working on a document or something as a group, it's a little bit easier. Just my opinion.
no, I agree. I think that will naturally evolve. So anyway,
Do we think
One more thing. I did send out minutes, and a couple of people got back to me, but not everyone. So do you want to wait and vote on, because we've just adjourned, we can't do it now.
yeah,
But
we can't do it. Let's just wait and do them next week.
Okay.
Okay. All right, then.
Good
Thank
night.
you all.
Thank you.
Night.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
All right, Tony.